Hello, in this video we'll be completing the main document for our mail merge. Remember that the main document controls our format, and I'm going to complete this main document according to the instructions that I've given you in Canvas. So the first thing I'm going to do is to open the file for the Rogers, Owens & French letterhead, and that is now on my screen. Notice that our cursor is blinking over here by the graphic. I can press the down arrow, or I could just click an insertion point, and that would put you at the right place to start your letter. Remember that the main document is where you set up the format for the letter. So on my screen I have the Rogers, Owens & French letterhead. My cursor is in position, and all I need to do now is set the style. So we're going to go to the Home tab if we're not already there, to the Styles group, and we're going to choose the no spacing style. That sets up the single spacing with no spacing before and after paragraphs. Now that we have the format set up, we're actually going to use a mail merge wizard to do our first mail merge. There are many different ways you could do this, but this is one way, and it's a quick way to learn. So we're going to go up to our Mailings tab, go over to our Start Mail Merge drop-down, and choose the step-by-step Mail Merge Wizard. When we do that, the Mail Merge task pane comes up to the right of our letter, and the very first thing on this is to select our starting document type. Well, we do need letters, so we're going to leave that selected, but notice there are different types of things that you could merge. So we're going to come down to the bottom of that task pane, and we're going to click on Next to begin our starting document. Okay, so for that, we could use the current document. We could start from a template. We could start from an existing document. We're going to leave the bullet marked in front of Use the Current Document. And next, we're going to select the recipients. Remember that I told you when you did your data source in Excel to save that file, and remember where you saved it, because we're going to use that in just a few minutes. Well, now is that time. So on our next step, we are ready to select our recipients, and we have these selections we could use, but I always like to use an existing list. And all we have to do to use that existing list is to browse to it and navigate to where we have it saved. I saved mine on my desktop, so I'm just looking now for my client address list, which is right here. I'm going to double click on it, and when I do, I'm going to have to align some things on my screen so that you can see them. There we go. When I double click on that file, there are a couple of things that we see. We get this dialog box, and it says Select Table. Well, we could have several worksheets in our Excel file that had different address lists for different things, but we just have that one address list. So this is correct. So sheet 1 is correct. And we also want to check and make sure that the check mark is in the box that says First row of data contains column headers. Once we have checked that, we click OK, and we get this dialog box. Okay, this is our mail merge recipients. You will recognize these are the names that you keyed in for your data source. However, on the last one, you should have your name. I don't have it on mine. Okay, so these are our recipients. We could go through and say, oh, we don't want this to go to Howard Albright. We could take that off by just clicking on that check mark, but we actually want this to go to everyone on this list, so we're going to leave all of those checked. Notice that we could sort, filter, we could do a lot of things with this list, but our list is good, so we're going to click OK. All right, so now we'll look back at the merge pane, and we'll see that sheet 1 of client address list is the file that we have now linked to our main document. So now we're ready to go down to the next step, which is to write your letter. When you click on Write Your Letter, the Mail Merge pane has some helpful things that we're going to come back to, but right now what we need to do is click on our insertion point on our letter and key in the date. Well, here we go. And I'll just let Word finish that for us. Remember that after the date, we do need to press enter 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And then we're going to use the Mail Merge wizard to insert our address block. So we're going to come right over here and click on Address Block. We get this dialog box, and this would show us different formats that we could use. I do like to use the one that includes the title. So go ahead and choose that, that one. We're going to leave the insert postal address and the format address according to the destination checked. And we have an example here of what it's going to look like, and that's okay. So we're going to just say okay on that one. And then after our address block, now you have to kind of visualize what you're doing here. You have your address block, and Word is going to insert that for you. After your address block, you have to say, well, how many enters do I have before my salutation? You have 2. 1, 2. Okay, we don't have to type the salutation because Word is going to do that for us. We're going to click on greeting line, and the greeting line format is Dear. It could be some other things, but we want Dear. And Mr. Randall is fine, but look over here. There's a comma after it. We don't use a comma after our salutation. We use a colon. So we're going to drop down that list, choose the colon, and that looks okay. The rest of it is okay, so we're going to click on OK. After our greeting line, remember that's our dear whoever, we're going to press enter twice, and we're going to start keying in our paragraphs. And let me get my copy so that I can key that the way that I had you key it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and key this in. Thank you for being a valued CLINT client of Rogers, Owens, and French. We would, oh wow, look at all those typos. You can either fix those as you type. I'll just go ahead and fix them. Let's see if French is in there. It is. And then we'll see if I can do a little better than that. We would like to show our appreciation for your business by inviting you to our annual, and then we're starting on that with kind of a nice centered invitation looking thing. So we're going to stop and proofread at that point. We'd like to show you our appreciation. Okay, that looks good. Okay, after annual, we're going to press enter twice. And then if we're reading our directions, we have to go back to the home, and we have to do a centering icon, a centering command, because we want to center the lines, client appreciation brunch, etc. We also want to change that to Lucida calligraphy because we want it to look pretty, and we want it to be an 11 point. That's what it is. So we'll just go ahead and type that in. Oops, excuse me. Press enter twice. (9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and press enter twice. And then for the address block, we're going to go ahead on the invitation part and do that single spaced, just like I showed you on the handout. Offices of Rogers, Owens, and French. Okay. Press enter. 1, 2, 3, 4. Travis Street, San Antonio, Texas. Okay. All right. So this also is supposed to be bold. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to bold that. And I'm going to go and fix my typo on brunch. and just proofread it a little bit, and that looks good. So we're at this point. After Texas, what we would do is press enter twice because we start the next paragraph. But to start that next paragraph, we do need to go back to Calibri 11 point, and we need to go back to left justify. So we've done that. We're ready to key in that last paragraph. Drinks and snacks will be served, period. Drawings for door prizes will occur every half hour. Okay, that's our next to the last paragraph. We hope to see you there. Exclamation point. Press enter twice. Sincerely, press a comma, and then press enter twice. And here we want to change back to our Lucida calligraphy, just so that we have a pretty signature. And so we do that, and we go Rogers in all caps, Owens, and French. And notice that we could, evidently with the firm, we can either use the and symbol or the and word. So we can use either one. And then we're going to press enter 1, 2, 3, 4 times and have the writer's ID, which is going to be going back to the Calibri. And we do that. And it is attorneys and staff, because this is really an invitation from the whole firm. We press enter twice and put our initials, and now we have written our letters. At this point, remember that we have let the main document control the format of the letter. One thing that I should mention to you is that the format of this letter has narrow margins. Normally we use 1-inch margins, but these are 1/2 inch. Do not change that because we won't fit the letter on one page if you do that. So you're going to leave the margins set the way that I have them on the letterhead file, and this is what your letter should look like once you have finished writing it. So the next step that you would click on would be to preview your letters, and we're going to pick up with that step on the next video. So this ends this part of the main document video.